Welcome to the channel, financial enthusiasts. You might remember our video summarizing Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money. Over 1.2 million of you joined that conversation, and we're incredibly grateful for your engagement. It's clear this book struck a chord with many of you. But let me ask, have you truly applied the lessons from the book to your life? Have you delved into the deeper meaning behind those insights? Today we're diving into 10 key chapters from the book for a fresh analysis. This isn't just a recap, it's an exploration of the psychology behind wealth, success, and happiness. By the end of this video, you'll have actionable strategies to shift your mindset and rethink how you approach money. Are you ready? Subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into the first chapter. No one is crazy, Morgan Housel writes, and that statement carries profound wisdom. Why? Because our financial decisions aren't made in a vacuum. They're deeply personal, shaped by our upbringing, culture, and life experiences. Money is less about spreadsheets and more about stories. Your story, to be precise. Let's break this down. Imagine a person who grew up during an economic recession. They likely saw family members lose jobs, homes, or even businesses. For them, financial security isn't a luxury. It's a survival instinct. They're probably cautious, saving aggressively and avoiding high-risk investments. Now, contrast that with someone who grew up during booming economic times. Their formative years were filled with stories of rising markets, abundant opportunities, and wealth creation. For them, investing heavily in the stock market feels natural, even necessary. Are either of them wrong? No. They're just responding to their unique realities. But here's where things get fascinating. We're often quick to judge others based on our financial lens. That friend who spends lavishly on designer brands? Crazy. The relative who hoards cash under their mattress instead of investing? Also crazy. But are they? Not at all. These behaviors are rational when viewed through the lens of their experiences, fears, and aspirations. What if we shifted our mindset? Instead of labeling others as bad with money, what if we started observing? For instance, that spender might be prioritizing experiences or appearances based on values they grew up with. The saver may have seen someone lose everything and vowed never to let it happen to them. Understanding these motivations not only builds empathy, but also offers us new perspectives. What's the lesson here? Next time you see someone making financial choices you don't agree with, pause and ask, what can I learn from their perspective? This approach will expand your understanding of money and help you cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships. The next key insights from the psychology of money analysis is confounding compounding. The power of compounding. It's the quiet engine behind the world's greatest fortunes. But here's the kicker. It's not just about finance. Compounding applies to nearly every area of life, from skills and relationships to habits and health. Let's start with the financial basics. Think of Warren Buffett, often hailed as the king of compounding. Buffett's brilliance isn't just in picking stocks, it's in starting early and staying consistent. By the time most people enter the workforce, his investments were already growing exponentially. His wealth didn't come from one big win, but from decades of small, steady wins piling up over time. Now let's take this idea beyond money. Imagine a musician. They don't become great by practicing for 10 hours one day and then taking a break for a month. Instead, they practice a little each day, building their skills incrementally. That's compounding in action. The same is true for relationships. Small acts of kindness, like remembering a birthday or offering a word of encouragement, compound into trust, loyalty, and deeper connections. But here's the thing. Compounding works both ways. Positive habits lead to growth and success, but neglect or bad habits can spiral into failure. Think about debt. A small amount borrowed can quickly snowball into overwhelming burdens if left unchecked. Similarly, neglecting health or relationships over time can lead to irreversible consequences. And here's where we can help. Money enthusiasts, we've got something to supercharge your financial journey. Our all-in-one life planner is now available to help you crush your financial goals. This powerhouse toolkit includes a compound interest savings calculator to unlock the magic of compounding, debt trackers to conquer your repayments, savings trackers to watch your wealth grow, a goal trackers to keep you focused and unstoppable, and more. Check out the link below the video to grab your planner and kick off the new year strong. Full setup instructions are included to make your journey easy. The key point here? Start thinking of compounding as a life philosophy. Invest in your health, relationships, and personal growth as diligently as you would your finances. Small, consistent efforts in these areas can create monumental change over time. Whether it's learning a new skill, cultivating friendships, or saving for retirement, the magic of compounding is always at work. Start today, and let time be your greatest ally. Now let's dive into the next topic from our analysis of the psychology of money, luck and risk. Luck and risk are siblings, two sides of the same coin. Morgan Housel illustrates this perfectly with the story of Bill Gates and Paul Allen. Gates was fortunate enough to attend one of the few high schools with a computer lab in the 1970s, giving him a significant head start in the tech world. Paul Allen shared this opportunity, but health challenges forced him to step away from Microsoft early. Same environment, different outcomes shaped by luck and risk. But the story of Gates's close friend Kent Evans adds another layer to this dynamic. Kent was one of Gates's best friends during their time at Lakeside School and a key member of their group that shared a passion for computers. Kent was bright, ambitious, and full of potential, a future leader and visionary in Gates' eyes. Tragically, Kent passed away in a mountain climbing accident as a teenager. His death was a stark reminder of how unpredictably luck and risk can play out, even at a young age. Kent's story highlights how intertwined luck and risk truly are. While Gates and Allen had the opportunity to shape the future of technology, Kent's potential was never realized due to circumstances beyond anyone's control. It's a sobering reminder that life itself is subject to these forces, much like our financial journeys. What's the takeaway here? Recognizing the balance of luck and risk is essential not just in finance, but in life. Gates often reflects on how Kent's passing influenced his drive and perspective. Similarly, we should approach our financial strategies with gratitude for the opportunities we've had and respect for the risks we face. Diversify your investments, leave room for flexibility, and acknowledge the role that luck, good or bad, plays in shaping your path. Moving forward to the next key insights you haven't thought about yet. Here's the danger of living in a world fueled by comparison. Nothing ever feels like enough. Even John D. Rockefeller, one of the wealthiest men in history, couldn't escape this trap. When Rockefeller hit his first $100 million, he thought he'd retire satisfied. But satisfaction didn't come. Instead, he set his sights on $1 billion. And when he reached that milestone, he still wasn't content. Why? Because comparison had him chasing an ever-moving target. The truth is, this isn't just a billionaire problem. It's a human one. How many times have you upgraded your phone, house, or car thinking it would bring lasting happiness? It's easy to fall into the trap of social comparison, constantly measuring yourself against others. The more you achieve, the more you notice someone with more. It's a cycle that leads to stress, dissatisfaction, and poor financial decisions. Here's the thing. The problem isn't how much you have, it's how you define enough. If your definition is tied to what others have, you'll never feel at peace. True wealth isn't about accumulation, it's about contentment. Rockefeller and countless others learned this lesson the hard way. What's the core message here? Sit down and write your personal definition of enough. What income, savings, or lifestyle truly satisfies you? For example, maybe it's enough to own a modest home, travel once a year, and have a secure retirement fund. When you hit your mark, celebrate it instead of moving the goalpost. Stop comparing yourself to others and start measuring your success against your own values and goals. Contentment is the ultimate financial achievement. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far and want me to analyze the other 8 chapters of the book, comment the word analysis so I know. Moving forward, let's dive into the seduction of pessimism. Pessimism is seductive because it feels realistic. Let's face it, bad news grabs our attention. Headlines screaming about market crashes, recessions, or inflation trigger our fears. But here's the irony. While pessimism sounds smart, optimism delivers better results in the long run. Think about the stock market. Over the past century, it's weathered wars, economic crises, and even global pandemics. If you looked at any single downturn, pessimism seemed justified. But zoom out, and you'll see a different story: consistent upward growth over decades. The investors who panicked and sold during downturns lost out. Those who stayed optimistic, stayed invested, and waited came out ahead. Here's why pessimism feels so convincing. It appeals to our survival instincts. Our brains are hardwired to respond more intensely to threats than to opportunities. But this short-term mindset can hurt us in the long run, especially when it comes to money. Here's the deal. Optimism doesn't mean ignoring risks. It's about believing in progress while preparing for setbacks. It's not blind faith, it's rooted in history and data. Think about entrepreneurs. They're inherently optimistic, taking calculated risks because they believe in a brighter future. Without optimism, progress grinds to a halt. The lesson here? Find a balance between realism and optimism. Prepare for downturns by diversifying your investments and having an emergency fund. But don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Markets recover, opportunities arise, and the future holds promise. Optimism, when grounded in knowledge, isn't naive. It's a superpower. The next key insights you haven't thought about yet is, wealth isn't the flashy cars, sprawling mansions, or designer clothes you see on Instagram. Morgan Housel challenges us to rethink wealth, stating, "Wealth is what you don't see. It's not about what people flaunt. It's about the financial security and freedom built quietly behind the scenes." Here's a scenario. You see someone driving a luxury car and you think, wow, they've made it. But what you don't see is their financial reality. That car could represent their entire savings, or worse, a mountain of debt. On the flip side, someone driving an older, modest car might have a well-funded retirement account or a fully paid-off home. True wealth is invisible. It's financial independence, the peace of mind that comes from living within your means, and the ability to make life choices without stress. The bottom line? Social media fuels this misconception, showcasing curated versions of success. Influencers flaunt luxury vacations, expensive clothes, and fancy dinners, but what's behind those images? Often it's debt, financial instability, or a constant need to keep up appearances. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy focus on stability and long-term security. They prioritize growing their assets, not impressing others. The lesson here: shift your focus from appearances to substance. Ask yourself, am I building wealth that creates freedom? Or am I spending wealth to be seen? Invest in what truly matters. A strong financial foundation, peace of mind, and a future where you control your choices. Remember, the most valuable forms of wealth, time, freedom, and security, are the ones no one can see. Up next, the man in the car paradox. Let's dig deeper into the paradox of status symbols. Morgan Housel points out a fascinating phenomenon. When you see someone driving a luxury car, you don't admire the person, you imagine yourself behind the wheel. The admiration is directed at the car, not its owner. This subtle psychological truth exposes a major flaw in our pursuit of material status. Here's an example. Tom, a successful lawyer, buys a Ferrari hoping it will make him the envy of his peers. At first, the shiny red sports car seems to achieve its purpose. But soon Tom realizes a harsh truth. Nobody cares. People aren't impressed by him. They're daydreaming about themselves owning a Ferrari. Meanwhile, Tom is left with skyrocketing maintenance costs, stress about keeping the car in perfect condition, and a nagging sense that the purchase hasn't brought him happiness. Let's get to the point. Status symbols often stem from a desire for external validation. But here's the kicker. Real respect isn't tied to what you own. It's rooted in your actions, character, and the impact you make on others. Generosity, kindness, and integrity earn admiration in ways flashy toys never can. What's the core message here? Before buying a luxury item, pause and ask yourself, am I doing this for me or for how others will perceive me? If your answer leans toward the latter, reconsider. Instead, direct that money toward meaningful pursuits. Invest in experiences, support causes you care about, or save for long-term goals. True fulfillment doesn't come from impressing others. It comes from living authentically. Moving forward, let's dive into the next key insights, the power of saving. Here's the deal. Saving isn't just about avoiding financial disaster, it's about creating opportunities. Morgan Housel argues that savings are a tool to buy freedom, flexibility, and control over your life. Yet savings often get overshadowed by the excitement of investing or the thrill of spending. Consider this. Two friends earn the same income. One spends nearly all of it on a high-maintenance lifestyle, while the other diligently saves a portion each month. When life throws a curveball, a sudden car repair, a medical emergency, or even a job loss, who's better equipped to handle it? The saver, of course. Their financial cushion offers peace of mind, while the spender is left scrambling. But savings go beyond emergencies. They're the foundation of financial freedom. Imagine wanting to switch careers, start a business, or take a sabbatical. Without savings, these options feel impossible. With them, they become realistic goals. The bottom line. Saving isn't just about hoarding money. It's about building a financial buffer that lets you make choices on your terms. Whether it's weathering a crisis or seizing an opportunity, savings give you the power to act without fear. The key lessons here? Start small, but stay consistent. Automate your savings so it becomes a habit, not a decision you have to make each month. Even if it's just 10% of your income, those small deposits will compound over time. The goal isn't deprivation, it's preparation. Saving today means giving your future self the freedom to thrive, adapt, and dream big. All right, the next key insights you haven't thought about is seeing freedom as the ultimate goal. What's the one thing money can truly buy? Freedom. Morgan Housel argues that the ultimate goal of wealth isn't about yachts, mansions, or private jets. It's about having the ability to control your time and make decisions on your terms. It's about waking up every day and having the power to choose how you spend your hours without being tied down by financial stress or obligations that don't align with your values. Think about it. The wealthiest people in the world aren't endlessly chasing material possessions. Instead, they're pursuing freedom. Freedom to spend time with loved ones, to invest in passion projects, or to walk away from toxic situations. For them, money is a tool to reclaim their time and autonomy. Here's the scoop. Many people confuse wealth with extravagance, thinking it's about showing off. But real wealth is quieter. It's the power to say no. Want to quit a job that doesn't fulfill you? Move closer to family? Travel for a year without worrying about bills? That's freedom, and it's far more valuable than flashy possessions. Achieving this freedom requires discipline. Frugality and intentional spending are your allies because they ensure that you're saving and investing toward a life of choice, not constraint. The takeaway? Redefine your financial goals with freedom as the end game. Ask yourself, what would I do if money wasn't an obstacle? Use this vision as a compass to guide your financial decisions. Save not just for retirement, but for the flexibility to live life on your terms. True wealth isn't measured by what you own. It's measured by the freedom you create. Moving on to our final key insights from this book analysis, we have the Seduction of Stories. Humans are natural storytellers, and when it comes to money, we're drawn to narratives that inspire or amaze us. But here's the catch. These stories often mislead us. Think about the tales you've heard. This one stock turned me into a millionaire overnight, or real estate is the safest investment. These simplified success stories sound enticing, but rarely paint the full picture. For example, someone might credit their financial success to a single, brilliant investment. What they fail to mention are the years of failures, late nights of research, and a significant dose of luck that led to that moment. Stories like these focus on outcomes, not the grueling process behind them. And when we buy into these narratives, we risk making impulsive decisions based on incomplete information. Here's what you need to know. Stories appeal to our emotions, but financial decisions require logic. Take the overnight success myth. It's often just that, a myth. Behind every big win is a trail of setbacks, lessons, and persistence that rarely make it into the headline. Believing in these shortcuts can lead to disappointment, frustration, and poor financial choices. The lesson here? When faced with a compelling financial story, pause and ask, what's missing here? Seek out the unglamorous details, the failures, the risks, and the role of luck. Avoid basing your decisions on someone else's highlight reel. Instead, focus on strategies grounded in research, patience, and a long-term perspective. Remember, every success story has a backstory, and that's where the real lessons lie. And there you have it, financial enthusiasts. Today we've taken a deep dive into 10 key insights from the psychology of money, uncovering the hidden forces that shape our financial lives. These lessons are more than just ideas. They're tools to rethink how we earn, save, and spend. But remember, the real power lies not in knowing them, but in applying them. So let's recap what we've learned from this analysis. Everyone's financial decisions are rooted in their unique experiences, which means understanding others requires empathy, not judgment. Compounding reminds us that small, consistent actions, whether in money, relationships, or personal growth, can snowball into monumental success over time. Luck and risk go hand in hand, shaping our journeys in ways we can't fully predict. Success isn't just about hard work. It's also about respecting the role of preparation and the unpredictability of luck. And then there's the lesson of enough. True wealth isn't about accumulating endlessly. It's about knowing when you've reached a point of contentment and choosing to live with gratitude. While pessimism grabs headlines and attention, optimism rooted in history and trends often leads to better long-term results. Real wealth isn't in the flashy cars or designer clothes. It's in the freedom and security quietly built behind the scenes. Speaking of status symbols, the man in the car paradox reminds us that respect doesn't come from possessions. It comes from character. Saving might not seem exciting, but it's incredibly powerful. It's not just a safety net, it's a gateway to freedom, the kind that lets you make life's big decisions without fear. And let's not forget, the ultimate goal of money is control over your time, giving you the ability to live on your terms. Finally, while financial stories can be inspiring, they often oversimplify reality. Seek the full picture before making decisions based on someone else's highlight reel. Each of these lessons holds the power to transform how you think about money, wealth, and happiness. The real question is, how will you apply them to your own journey? Now reflect. Are you building wealth that no one sees? Are your habits compounding in the right direction? Are you defining what's truly enough for you and pursuing freedom over fleeting status? If these lessons hit home for you, drop the word analysis in the comments. And don't forget, we'll cover the remaining 8 chapters in our next video, so stay tuned. If you missed our original summary of the psychology of money, I highly recommend checking out my next video for an overview of Morgan Housel's timeless insights. Subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear these lessons. As always, keep chasing wealth, happiness, and freedom. See you in the next one.